your ultimate background is one of, in my opinion, pretty dang good. I mean, if you were only in there for a couple of years in the pro field, 2 world championships, I mean, that's pretty good percentage rate if you're asking me. But like, let's talk about for those who are in ultimate or have played ultimate more than disc golf, and maybe they want to make the switch to disc golf, or maybe they have made the switch to disc golf and they're still kind of struggling a little bit. What kind of tips do you have initially for that switch of mainly playing ultimate to now you're gripping a disc that's significantly smaller? What kind of tips do you have for those people who are going or have played a lot of ultimate switching over to disc golf?
Yeah, I think that there's like a couple things. I think form wise, thinking about your nose angles. So like the angle, ultimate players learn that a flat normal throw is inside out with the nose up, and inside out is hyzer for disc golfers. And that's what makes an ultimate disc fly straight and flat. But a real disc golf disc or golf disc needs to be thrown actually flat angle, and then flat nose angle in order to fly straight and flat. So thinking about that, I think that a lot of ultimate players would benefit from throwing more vertically, like having their body straight up. I know like a lot of people kind of learn or maybe aren't necessarily taught, but sort of learn to throw an ultimate disc like I said earlier on hyzer or inside out for ultimate players, that release. And so one of the things to help with that is just bringing your body upright, because ultimate players kind of like to lean over when they throw. And then I think like the other main thing is just to, keep playing until you can actually separate your forms. Because I think at first, like when I was playing disc golf and ultimate at the same time, I would try to throw an ultimate disc and totally shank it. And then if I played a bunch of ultimate and I would get used to it, then I would try to throw a disc golf disc and totally shank it. So to me, I got to a point where my forms for throwing ultimate disc and throwing a disc golf disc are completely separate, like in my brain. Like it's not that I'm adjusting my ultimate form to throw a disc golf disc or vice versa. Now it's just a completely different like form for throwing a backhand in disc golf versus a backhand in ultimate. So I can like switch back and forth between throwing an ultimate disc and a disc golf disc like pretty seamlessly at this point. So I think that like just committing that time to to really learning that form and actually getting it into your brain as a separate entity, and then your ultimate form is pretty key for figuring out how to be a disc golfer. And then also putt as much as you can, because that's the hardest part.
My next question I have for you, Ella, though, is all about decision making. Like I feel in ultimate, you really have to be quick on your decision making. You don't necessarily have time to think about what you're going to do. It's just, okay, someone's coming at me. Oh, I think I see a gap. I'm going to throw it. How is it different for you in disc golf? Like, do you have a lot more time to think about what you're going to do next, or are you still just kind of fast paced decision making and we're going to roll with it and see what happens?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot more time to think in disc golf. In ultimate, you get a stall count, which is supposed to be 10 seconds, but realistically is more like 7 because people count fast. And you got to make a decision. And yeah, that's been tough for me switching over, because I was known for throwing a lot of turnovers in ultimate. So not great throws, or throws that didn't quite work out, and some good throws, but I kind of had the ability in ultimate to throw, to not throw a 100% shot and be okay with it, because you can always get it back on defense or whatever. But yeah, in disc golf, it definitely took some reminding of myself, like, oh, you have 30 seconds for every shot, and you can take that full time, whether it's a drive or a putt or an upshot or whatever. Taking that time and actually thinking about all the lines and thinking about all the options has been something that has been hard to remember to do all the time. And I think that, yeah, sometimes my decision making is probably like the worst part of my game. Like I had a double bogey on the second day this past weekend that should have been just a single bogey, or even, it shouldn't have been a bogey, but it would have been better. It would have been easy to make it a bogey instead of a double bogey. And that was a decision making thing. And so I think that making making those decisions has been something that I have been working on a lot, and it has been getting better, and I've been making fewer and fewer mistakes each round, basically. And so that feels really good, but I know that that's something I have to keep working on and reminding myself that I have time to think about it. I don't necessarily have to make it to the basket on every single throw. Sometimes layups are better than going for it.